Yep.
Oh, second. Yes. Please now say. Okay. Oh. Yeah. So, hello, everyone. Welcome to the next workshop of PyLadies Amsterdam. Today, we're in a very special place. We're in the middle of the heat wave. That's hence this very special place. Those who join us online, we do hope that you have air coats home, so at least you can survive as us. So what's going to happen next? We will continue with the workshop. For the workshop, you will need an API key, which I share with you via Meetup message. So for the API key, I will point you to the Meetup. So those who subscribe to Meetup to this event will get the API key to work with that. The API key is only valid during the event. And afterwards, if you want to play around with it, you need to get your own if you want to play around further after the workshop. So for those who is like the first time with us, we are PyLadies Amsterdam, let's say a local chapter of the global PyLadies community, and our focus is on running workshops every month, mostly by practitioners for practitioners. Without further ado, I give the podium to Jessica. So Jessica, the floor is yours.
Yes, thank you.
And sorry, I forgot to mention it's the kids. It's the kids, yes, and the beautiful Jessica. So what's also important, if you have any questions, feel free to ask them and we'll pass that to Jessica. So that's for online people. The rest you can just ask us who is in the room. Thank you so much, Jessica. Perfect. Please.
Thank you. Let me immediately get here. I don't have to add people mainly, right?
No.
Okay. Well, okay, perfectly works. First of all, hi everyone. Thank you for joining, even if it's only for the air conditioning here. We will start with a brief introduction into the topic of how to prepare your data warehouse for agentic workflows before we dive into the actual workshop, which consists of 5 exercises. And after that, we will just wrap it up and enjoy a good chat and even a refreshing drink. Well, in case you missed it, I'm Jessica. And no, we're not going to do a round of everyone's names, but please do share them with your neighbor because you're going to need to know each other's names for the workshop. So please do. That you at least know who's who. Okay. Please do.
Thank you.
Yes, of course. Yeah. Okay, thank you. So I'm a data analytics engineer here at Xomnia, and what I do differs per client greatly. But in one sentence, I am in between the data engineers pipelines and the business analysts. Before this, I worked at a big retail company, also bridging the gap between engineers and the e-commerce side. So you quickly have to understand if numbers make sense, if pipelines deliver unwanted results. So I'm used to diving into the data myself to validate it. That means you have full control, basically, because I know things often go wrong. So in a world where LLM are everywhere, sometimes I struggle with letting go of that sense of control and letting LLM really do all the work. So I put work struggles here, but with the massive amount of LLM usage, I encountered this in my personal life as well, where I literally asked a week ago for a 20-day itinerary for my vacation, and I kept getting 25 days. So please raise your hands if you ever had an LLM output that did not give you what you want. And please keep them raised if you rewrote your prompts. And please keep them raised if you took another look at your data. So for this workshop goal, if I can click to the next one, I kind of went in with selfish reasons because I find this incredibly important. I'm extremely curious by nature, and with you all using Python, I think we have that alike, our like and curiosity. And I want to test out how much of an effect changing the architecture and preparing your data has on the outputs. So by fixing the data and its architecture, I can play a part in how well the LLM is doing and kind of feel like I have that sense of control again. But there's even a bigger impact that preparing your data and your architecture can have. These are some news articles that have popped up. Microsoft CEO warns against AI overuse. It's a real cost problem. Token usage is causing big bills, or the well-known token maxing. So if we look at an LLM, this is, I think, the basic flow. We have users, they create a prompt where the icon doesn't pop up. It goes to the LLM, and I don't care which model it is, just for the sake of this example. And of course, through another stream, data gets in. And not using AI is not really an option anymore. But what approaches we take can drastically decrease token usage and therefore also the costs. So what can we adjust? So, well, it's hard to change the users. We don't really have an impact on that. They decide the prompt, so that's also a difficult one. Of course, there's a big topic surrounding prompt design. But today we're going to focus on the data, because the better we prepare the data and the better we lay out the semantic models, the better the decision we can make for a model. By optimizing our data, we can downgrade our LLM model, which are often cheaper, and hence our cost will also decrease. So let's open the workbook. I think you all have the link. If you don't, please shout out.
GitHub.com/PyLadies. Just in case, like, you're all connected to it, right? So the passwords and the credentials there for it.
Heb jij hem ook? Do you also have it? Shall I send it to you? Learn. Nee.
Let us know if you didn't manage.
Yeah.
Have you find the repo? No. Yeah, or like it's faster. So I found a gift. Yes, exactly. Oh, yes. And the key is shared via Meetup, so it's on Meetup. Yeah, there is a message. Yeah, because it's a Meetup sales of the yes. Yeah. So the key, then you can just grab it and use it for that. Is everyone else found it? Yeah. Yeah. That's right. Yeah. Yes. You're good. You're
Yeah, I've sent it.
okay.
So yeah, let's go through the setup and the first exercise. And if you need anything, please shout or ask your neighbors. By management.
What is the distance, right?
Yeah. No worries. So, yeah. Anyways. Yeah.
What's the basis of yours? Is that somewhere you've been working on? Sit down.
Wait a second.
Yeah.
Yes, I did.
Second, yes, we saw him.
No worries.
So your turn or the your turn to manage for you to go.
In the first start page, start page for meetup.
Yeah, that's a bit so right. It's not a good spectrum. So here,
Yeah. Message and then find me there.
Yeah.
Yeah, just here you can write the message here. No, it's someone else. Yeah, this is the great message to them. No. Yeah, if you can share.
Is it yours?
Yeah, thank you, share it, yeah, thank you. Yeah. Yes, yes.
If I close it before, but it's not loaded or uploaded.
So you are,
I'm in my history.
you're near this project, where do you send now? You open the terminal? Let's say you open the terminal. Yeah, the file, you. New terminal. Or
Voor myself.
I'm looking to open the terminal.
Yeah, I have the Windows ability. I usually only
Yeah, so you can just yes, and then it's exactly as well. So for the girl, then you need to create here. Especially then you can assign right there. But I
Oh,
know.
no, it's only yes.
Okay, you're in the base.
Step one.
Yeah, and then you go, you're in base, then you need to go to city twice to the folder where you are.
But I'm.
So you need to go to the folder and go to the folder to go in the folder and for this is purchase.
Okay, so you have to go to these.
Yeah, that's the. Do become a research. Yes, and then, you know.
It's also much faster.
Do the private files. Okay, then go to the private files.
Yeah, but
Let's check. You should pick up in the folders. Okay, now we should pick it up.
Okay.
And then there's a big. Yes. So should be like the rest of the things you have. Yes. It's there, then you check the rest of there.
And then we should, and then you see into it, yes. And then it should be good. Yeah. And now here we do yes, and so basically you don't need to, you already have it. But here there it should get over the efficient way that's what's the make sure. Yes. And then you need to update just this. Okay, it's great. So you'll bring it there. So then, and then you'll do all the installation here, and then now you have to install the requirements. And after that, you need to make sure that the kernel is looking at that. Despite all kernels in the base one. So after installations, we need to go to the kernel and just find the solution that's what you fix it. Then you can then you can see it. So after that, you go to the kernel. Yeah, this that's going to Okay, so when you go to the shop, now click 66 and now use the kernel. So now you go there, it should so first thing which you have to do, you have to go there and you know your yes, no, this is first we not we need to send it to equal and then so you can skip the whole just yeah, no, we and it goes for us so back. And now your provider yeah, the burn closes that's your so like this where yeah this one still make sure there's no distance between keep it up now we can start this one. Okay, so you it's in the meter chat, right? The API key. So it should oh, are you okay? Yeah, I'm just saying. So have you heard it's no. I don't know. What are you using for the so nothing. Oh, right. I sign up with some weird PyLadies. No, forget about it. Go the fastest way. Go to the inside. Yeah, go to the inside. Weird. And then it should be
Or I can share it.
Yeah, or you can share it here.
Okay.
Let's see.
The only one without a laptop, but with the key, so.
You have a button for the phone?
Huh?
You set up a button for the phone?
No, I just,
Use their
I'm not with that. I'm more of an interest, but it's how you
yeah,
guys are.
Are you?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah, just yeah. And support just that type.
Sorry? They can go through the first order, right? Oh, it's platform.
And yeah, just send you a message. Okay. This. Oh, and I will do it. So I know I was wondering if you already
Right now, there. In the unit, right? Yes. There we go. Oh. Yes. I will did like one thing. It's unmuted, right?
Yeah.
So just one word, in case you decide to continue on your own later and you want to play around with that, we're going to merge and PR with slightly modified code, because currently we're not going to directly use the endpoints of OpenAI. We're going to work with a router, which basically is, you pay also for API usage, and it routes you up to different models, not just GPT models, but also other ones. And that's why you have a base URL, which basically points to that router. In case if you want just to use or your Azure OpenAI or OpenAI, you need just to adjust base URL and the model name, because now we have model name with a prefix, it would be without. That would be the difference, but we're also going to merge PR after the workshop, if you want to continue. Yes. Yeah, thanks.
Can you use the local models?
Yeah.
Is that-
And just you just pointed a word to what it's called. That's it.
The idea was to figure out like how to work with it, or like is it to like use LLM to like find this to people?
No, it's exercise 4, we're going to be using LLMs,
Okay.
but then the first bit is checking out yourself before we send it through an LLM, especially with PRI data.
So do we delete it ourselves?
Hmm?
Do we delete it ourselves?
No, you can
Or
just
do
go through the exercise, and where there's your turn, there's always a line your code here, and there you can implement it yourself. But the exercise will guide you through it. And otherwise, I can of course help out.
Does I run it? It's just printing the same.
Yeah.
thing.
That's okay.
But where's the?
Then you go to the next one. So this one is also, you have run and discuss your turn cells. That basically walks you through the exercise. So this already gets out some of the PRI data. So I already mentioned, okay, instead of delivering to email. So this is stuff that you can do before you send it through an LM. But as you see over here, just having regular Python code would not be sufficient.
Yeah. It's also still not consistent.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's almost a bit more difficult to get out with the regular the rejects.
So I'm supposed to run that. Okay.
Yeah.
Until I get to the.
Yeah.
It's looking for the value instead of the key. You see?
Oh, because it's also var and should
Oh,
be
yeah.
assigned directly. Yeah.
Wait, which move it? Okay.
Because this is the assignment of the variable of the AQ.
Yes,
It's assigned to this environment.
Run it right now, first one? Yeah, this one is reference. Right. Comment. Where this one next?
Some control.
Yeah, create control answer, but no, I need that. There is a comma at the end. Oh, yeah, yeah, both, yeah. Now, right, then you can go to
Authentication error. The error code one application error.
will be what's itself to be LLM. It's the first cell. And then the other business is done. Yeah, oh, you should remove the square brackets.
Oh.
Yeah, and then if you run this one, and then go back to the other cell, and then it's better.
Right.
The end or start or okay. And you guys, where are we exercise 1? I think we'll push the last exercise for the nicest to do at home.
Yeah.
And the workshop itself till 8, so 1.5 hours, and then we also always have PyLadies always has an hour to after have a chat.
Yeah, but if you want to, we can run it like until 9.
Why stop there?
You can always extend the budget.
Is the only one being supposed to.
Yeah.
Otherwise.
Otherwise, it'll be a problem.
Oh. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So let's continue to have also some time for the other exercises. Basically, if I already noticed while walking around, most of you were already over the half. So what we did here is first use regular Python to get out most of the PI data. And then when it didn't capture everything, because it's always kind of difficult with free text, we used LLM to get the last bit out of it. Of course, in reality, this LLM would be on-premise because otherwise we would still have a data breach, which we do not want. We also had some questions, but hearing the silence, I don't think everyone got there. There's some explanation regarding the discussed items will be there in the solutions file, which will be shared after the workshop. So everyone knows data has to be cleaned. It's like the standard thing that you learn on your first day of uni. But with big batches being uploaded into LLMs, sometimes steps are overlooked. So scrubbing PII is only the first part, but there are silent and drops, unexpected or incorrect values, averages versus medians, abbreviations we have to deal with, missing units, duplicates, and many more things. And I get it. Most people don't find it the most exciting parts. However, it is important to keep top of mind and know what is worth fixing. There's a difference between cleaning for AI or cleaning for a machine learning model or for dashboards. For an LLM, we really have to think about semantic clarity. So what value does it mean to the business? So we need to clean, then contextualize. So add column and table descriptions. By what is it partitioned? How does a column relate to others? Then chunk. So semantic topic instead of let the LLM read everything. And lastly, verify. So without further ado, let's go to the next exercise. How much data do we send to the LLM? Please also discuss with your neighbors if you've already had the discuss parts. Yeah. Perfect. Yeah, it can work for both unstructured and structured data. But for structured data, with tables, you can have many table names or column names that are a bit vague or quite similar. Then it's more difficult for the LLM to deal with it with certainty. Especially, for example, my past with a retail company with so many different names for a revenue bit. So is it gross revenue, is it net revenue, all these different kind of meanings behind it. But from the column name, it wasn't really make sure. But by adding the descriptions, it can make sure that the LLM understands it way more quickly.
Like we can have models recognize this fact.
Sorry?
Can the machine learning models recognize this fact? I think it's pretty basic.
Well, some machine learning models are more about statistical clarity. So you want to ensure that the calculations are correct. Where LLM wants to add logic to values that are there. So that is why there's often a difference in how to clean for machine learning model and for LLM. I had like that as well, but this time I didn't put it in there, but it would maybe be nice. No, it would be nice. I think I can add it there as well. And then it goes more into, okay, what is the difference from when do you clean this for both, from when is it preferably only for one?
I have a proposal. If there is a very interesting question that we have online,
Oh,
listeners,
yeah.
you can just take this question, repeat it back, and answer it from there. That would be
Yes.
just say then it's to be shared online as well. Because next questions is good not to miss them. Just say.
No, that's a good one.
Because then I can reference it to and the timestamp.
Mm-hmm.
So that it would be edited to the part.
Yeah, it's actually regarding an old exercise that I decided to cut, but now there was a question I think it would be nice to maybe even add it as an additional one.
And like within the context of your work, when do you guys use the machine learning model and like when do you guys use an AI model? Or like how do you guys get this skill?
Machine learning model is my thing that is arithmetic calculations. So really going over the values and calculate prediction, calculate the churn rates, where LM is more used to think as a person and explain logic behind it. So okay, what does this values mean and how does it relate to each other? Where LLM isn't the best at calculations over big data. It's miscalculated way more often.
Like an American model of video model,
Yeah, that's definitely an option. Currently, I do not work with that because it's not within my scope of my current job. And how I view it, I more see LLMs popping up at smaller businesses to use within the BI environment. But then it's more LLM that they build themselves, or it's the open source that they build into their app.
Okay.
And then all the business users want to use this LLM to, I don't know, get the sales from a certain year or see how they can add value in the company. And then that's where it goes wrong because their data isn't pressed correctly. So it's not about using the big cloud or using.
That is like just the based on that is the culture.
You mean a better implementation of?
Right. Sorry.
Yeah, as well. But I think this is a huge problem as well. So really fix it just before it goes into the LLM.
I was looking into where would I use the music to pick up and then I'm getting solution for all this problems given the solutions. Yeah, yeah. And then yes, it's there. Yes, yeah. We started so then you got it. Until it wasn't the service because they say that we never really did it. Yes, yeah, you can go to the virtual. That's when you know some language it's generally. So first stage about this is how they're set up. I think you were the one where I told you about this type of software that I would produce a video live. Yeah, and this would be your one. Yes, right. So this is not. So I yes, I will. I want that's how we'll be taking. So when you were talking about that, just if get the answer to get an answer on the instruction. You were right. It's on the pizza. No, just because of dividing. Yeah. I didn't hear. I didn't hear. It's clear. Yeah. Yes. Yeah, yeah, they stood there and you. Oh, right. They don't think we should.
Everything here basically stay on. Yeah. Not hopefully we carry all of this. So the justice here to so it's four versions, four versions, now we can show the amount of data. Yeah. So that's one language. Yeah. Yeah. So you follow this instruction or we start publicly and then we yeah. A little bit more qualified, but you get more. Cool. That's okay, so it just make sure that you do okay, so I'm just checking out this and checking instructions. Yes, yes, and it's by region. Okay. Now you see that. Yeah, I know that. Okay. That's what we can say. For tight conditions. So really nice and plain uses for examples. Ik kan de laatste 1 keer per maand ook iemand zijn episode van de reis. Dat zou als die had een maar in these my versions that are not and other versions that's like really smaller and other versions smaller. That's the size of page. Now just this speed. Please yeah, you get results from the version 1. You get results from the version 2. You get results from the version 3. So you need to replace the region. Yeah, you get you have it from the results. Just go instead of for just and then average answer. So now you need to rest all the hours of and then compare results. Yeah, but I need to yeah, we don't have to call it API time to produce the next and we don't get all that. Ik kwam ook best voor met zo'n jaar. Je moet het over lekker gaan lopen.
Is it a difficult watching the screen with your sunglasses?
Or it's a little bit longer.
What? Oh yeah, it's pretty small. Well, what's pretty small? Oh yeah, mine is 4.5. So I feel you.
I couldn't use it.
Yeah. And you work on this version 2, or go, version 2. Yeah, see that is in the second exercise, that's version 1, version 2.
Oh,
Right, version 2. I mean, it's also.
oh, sorry.
And here, yes.
Well, ask me something rest. In my work, we also look like rest. And however, it's, I mean, actually was good, but not feel like 100%. So we also constantly, which is like this thing that like a small, my like improve. So this is like
Yeah, it really depends on what you're trying to capture, I think. And the order number is way more easy than I think.
we go to state committees for the company.
Yeah, so in this case, because I see this with my former work as well. People within previously in order to get the things that can be posted online, you wanna capture those. So in that case, it's more difficult to get sensitive information out. Or people are really angry or really you also don't want to show everything. So it makes it more difficult instead of just getting order numbers out. So it really depends on the situation, how good I expect it. But I would more lean towards I always get these mixed, the precision and accuracy and then the other one. So we always lean towards more true positives and false positives. I just want to ensure that everything that I have that at least is for a number or an email or something else. And I don't want to label things as AI information, which is not it. Yeah. Yeah, it really depends on what you're dealing with. Yeah.
See, for things.
Yeah. Wait, so let me understand for the created from your next how you explain your copy.
Here. And my.
Yeah. 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 Yes, when it's. Yeah.
One minute, I'm sure I can't carry on. This is the last time we grow up in primary workplace.
Yeah. What do you know why?
That's right. I remember the people.
Oh, it was the data overlay. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Also.
Yeah. Yeah. Yes. I think Sharon for top. So sure. Let's hear from the past. Yeah. And you can go by and say you So without.
Yeah.
Yeah, so the yeah, the department somehow, and you're able to act that yes,
I fix the attribute error and I fix the property. Yeah.
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Ja, alleen maar even weten van mijn ogen uit de leven. Dat is ook ja, probably very good. Het zou zeker niet It's als alles wel iets aan reacties en dat het actually als je dan bijna zo 30 pages en starten and then you have those. The only thing that's kind of parallel. And for the rest of the minute, what you're going to be doing. It sounds like something that you're ready.
It's water.
Okay. That's where I.
That's where we are. I'm following the big important. The key word break.
Yes.
I was telling about the I said the new the situation that I used about where now that I found this.
Oh, okay. How about in the second exercise? Yeah? Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, that's it.
Yeah, depending on how you know this is lower. And that's evaluation stuff.
rectangle and then you will know your language. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Over now, isn't
But, yeah, because it's really fun. We kind
it's something very important.
That's how they.
Oh, no, I like that.
There's a whole stool.
Yeah, but like that would. Yeah, I think this is the entrance for most of it's yeah.
Okay, let's round this exercise up. And please, if you're not finished, you can always do it at a later moment, of course. So the minimum viable context. This was, of course, tabular data. So what I mostly notice is that I try to avoid doing the LLM, the group bys, all the arithmetic aggregations, because these are some things that every LLM might not be the best at, especially the smaller ones, and we can prevent them having to do so. Instead, you can, of course, pre-build a library of some standard aggregations that cover your known question types, or even create like a two-step pipeline where you first ask the LLM what it needs and then aggregate on those. For documents on the other side, you have a similar minimum viable context issue. If I give it everything, it will naive chunk, so it will just cut off at a certain moment, at a certain number of characters, where it would probably be better to do semantic chunking yourself. So if you have a large PDF that LLM needs to read, maybe only show the tables or cut it off per topic. So in that way, if you have a question, the LLM immediately knows where to search. So talking about the right context, we have exercise 3.
You stay.
Yeah, I'll stay there.
Really see some well, it's indeed about basically asking questions about data, and the data is relatively complex, relatively large, and the questions are relatively diverse. So what they did is basically put the data in a database, and then give the LLM the LSP server tools to understand the data, get documentation about the data, but then just run SQL queries. So basically, do the aggregation by itself, but without like showing all the data in one space.
Yeah, so like text to SQL kind of thing.
Like in a way, but not like direct. So
Yeah.
I'm asking, in this context, maybe okay, what's area should I focus on, and then the agent and what category should I focus on, and then the agent would by itself understand that okay, I need to understand what regions are there and what categories are there. From that, I need to construct a SQL query to get the relevant data out of the database and present the results. At face value, I think that seems reasonable, but I'm just like curious. Have you made the experience, each experience with that? Like giving an agent basically just access to a SQL database, some information.
Yeah, I touch upon it with client work, not in the most deep sense, but of multiple colleagues who have had done it, and also had talks, of course, about it. In this case, that you let the LLM create a SQL and run from there, then it still has some semantic knowledge on what data is, so it knows how to create a SQL. So you add the semantic layer over there, and on the semantic layer, the LLM will create the SQL. So that is also a form of semantic chunking, semantic layer, where you add the knowledge or the background knowledge on what text is touching upon what topic. So I do find it extremely helpful to let it do that way, and also with letting an LM create a SQL. I can understand SQL. I can read it.
Yeah.
That's really helpful for me to also, if something goes wrong, to pinpoint where it goes wrong, and I can run it myself as well. So no, I really like it.
I don't want the money.
Yeah.
I'm going to
Wait, which bit we don't have?
look at it.
Yeah. And what did you change for the optimized one? Yeah, no, but what is the difference between the data, or is no difference? Yeah. Yeah, and this one's a way better one. So what did you optimize?
No, I didn't like.
Yeah. Yeah, but it must have gone to a different decision because you optimized it.
No, I just asked it like, what was the yeah.
Yeah, so basically with the same, the same process in data, it gives you different. Yeah, which it's on the basic. But why did you try these three? Why did you try version 3?
I mean, I don't know.
No, it's just- Yeah.
Because we got one.
Yeah, myself, I prefer to do a bit more because that's the is that it's. So the question was, where are you? And then there's she has to vote. So each place, let's go. Combination is nice. That's where chemistry struggles. So because we all three is aggregated on the two items we need to aggregate for question, it leads to the conclusion. So it leads to work really well if we aggregate on the topics that question requires.
But I'm like, do you guys go with the department?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Very good.
Yeah. Sorry, I couldn't.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Within the data set,
Yeah.
as in like what parameters, like are more important than others?
You have some frequent questions that you often get. So right now, I'm making a reply that always know that we're gonna ask. Always per country, like for example, IKEA, it always will filter per country. So that's like standard thing I know. Okay, I always have to for this country, and then something that that question requires.
But this is just fast.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, I would definitely cache it.
Because like now it's like if you test that, like if you have like people think that you're not going to be quite using like
Yeah. Yeah, the best I would think is get out the two columns that you need, maybe use the length for that, like what's the user need, and then put those into my function as variables and aggregate it along those lines.
This one, because like now we're going to and they already gave like a page of my column to this, they gave a set for them. If you can like kind of this column, this copy of the box, you can get it. So I don't want to about.
But then you do some in the whole days really aggregate.
I'm going for like the ways they will something about something
Yeah.
So you can do that last year and then you just like this way.
I just, yeah, that's really discovered. Columnar data beforehand. You don't need a regular data like this, right? You do. So it's like the one big bit to the one big table effect, and they send everything in. And then how does that explode?
Yeah.
No, and then I want to go to the top of Netflix and things.
Yeah, like that is our.
Yeah. Yeah, well, at least from what I've seen, I know that aggregating this will really help to increase the cost of my hints, because it's differently. I'm 100% sure that they know what they're doing, but I would love to learn a bit about that as well. I just don't know. Yeah, let's go there. We're waiting for it. Oh, the beamer then has to lift everything out, I think. Depends. Misschien wel?
Wel, ik
Kan dat even bij? Kan deze open zonder dat we dit. Ja, dat kan. Want die zwart is, maar het zwart ook omhoog, hè? Het zou wel anders zijn. Ze gaan ze wel even ontschikken eigenlijk. Ja, ze kan ik nooit denken. Ja. Wat is het? Ik weet het laatst. Oh, je wil weten hoe ze die kaart vasthouden? Ja. I'm sorry. Oh no, we're working here. Can you maybe move like 10 meters? Thank you. Well, give her spare shitters. Like, can you move like 10 meters? Yeah, we're not aware. This is fine, I think, right?
Yeah, just if you're afraid of CC. Yeah.
Ja, dat is oké. Ja, nee, goed. Ja, goed. Ja, dat is ook voor jullie wel echt. Ik kan ze zelf even bij de video. Ja. Oh. Ja, dit was het. How's it going? Yeah, yeah. Yeah, sorry. I had enthusiastic family members. That's fine.
Quite a bit in
Can we go over here?
Okay, now we're supposed to.
Sorry? Yeah.
What do you think of it? Just like you.
That. Oh. Oh, I've got Dutch, and yeah, so used to it.
Like.
Oh, there it is, there it is. Oh, so you got miscalculated? Did you use your own, API, your own model? Or was this the,
It's a big plus.
yeah, that's good. Wait, let me show it. Yeah, so if I look into the coordinates afternoon, I see that the only one that shows relation and advanced and electronics. And your customer. In three, that's the only regarding. Okay, then I think I'm the only one.
Yeah, it's me.
Oh, sorry, my bad, I'm still with my head, I'll treat this silence. This one was already, I will say, still covers you. Okay, sorry, that's only basically stupid. So it's usually
like 6 columns.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
And then the optimizes coming.
Yeah.
6 columns and then like 35
Yeah, so the biggest one here is payment procedures. So I had the ones I took the version 3.0 mini, it did not take state to count this is what it did. So of course it was also for use. But when I had my personal choice, I had too many things. And then it's like a seat palettes that were there.
But how do you guys have
Well, of course,
just because it was
of course, no, I would not never recommend that. But with this one, it differs. But I don't think there is a good or wrong one for this exercise.
It's just simple data. So any elements.
Yeah, but it also shows the business logic behind it. Sometimes you have things that are extremely important for churn, but the model doesn't know the business logic. So this is like a combination of MENT versus LLM, I think. So the LLM is quicker at seeing the patterns, even with a small model. But in the end, someone in the business will always have to.
You're all simple.
Yeah.
Yeah, again.
But okay, I already saw lots of people nearing the end, so let's continue.
No. I mentioned that that was nice discussion, which could also.
Oh, okay, yeah, but still, I saw a lot of people nearing the end. So what this question was more about, not per se what is right and what is wrong, but more that you see that an LLM can recognize patterns quite quickly for the churn rate. But in the end, the business logic makes a lot of sense. So the combination of the two is actually the best. So an LLM you can use for the quick scout of what columns are important. But in this exercise, you notice that it's really important that you have some background. Because sometimes things or features can make a lot of sense or have a high relationship with churn rates, but the LLM just does not know it because it does not have the same business logic. So that was mostly what this was a question was about, and not per se what is the correct answer.
For the version that we sent everything, you see that irrelevant columns cost tokens. But aside from that, they also add a lot of noise. So the model has to figure out on its own what to ignore and also what it does not should ignore. In this case, data documentation is essential for the LLM to really understand what the columns mean. And with the data documentation, the LLM is also better in understanding the business logic behind it. For this caching also works extremely well until the schema changes. A question that looks like a known type actually needs different columns, or the LLM selection was wrong to begin with. But I've already heard multiple questions regarding caching. Always keep it in mind. Then I think we'll go to the last one due to time. And that's basically where we use an LLM to transform the data instead of doing it all by ourselves. Make this a short one. Okay, so due to time, we're gonna cut it short. To really recap this exercise a bit quickly, I think this is one of my most recognizable issues. At multiple retail companies, this was an issue in every company where things are free text fields and it always goes wrong, or you don't immediately get out the information that you want. So the parse LM JSON that you used might be a bit irrelevant if you're using a state-of-the-art LLM model, but those again are way more costly, which is another side of the coin. So we can also make use of a smaller LLM if this data structure is really solid. And of course, we can create a dead letter queue for rows that never pass, so we ensure that they don't end up in an ongoing forever loop. And with storing the WAR results, we contain what the LLM said before passing. And then later in production, storing that alongside the parse results means that if you have a schema change or validation rules change, that you can easily revalidate everything and ensure that it's up to date for the new API. So that was more on exercise 4. I just want to mention that exercise 5 is regarding an LLM creating SQL query, something that I find very useful. So if you like to do so, you can of course take a look at it at home. But for now, I would love to wrap up. Basically, the AI beast has been fed. So as mentioned, if you want to continue the workshop, you can use a native OpenAI as your AI API, but take into account that you might have to make a slight model adjustment, but we will ensure that the PR will be merged after this so you can use it as well. I only had 90 minutes and I had a gazillion ideas. So if you feel like talking more about this, please find me right after this or via LinkedIn. If you love to chat more about Xomnia, find Denise at the back or the email. And if you, of course, would love to talk more about PyLadies, then I have this beautiful lady sitting in front of me. And of course, we have her email address. So basically, thank you for joining.
And now to close the stream. So we have a bunch of announcements. So first announcement is about our next event. Julia, could you? No, that's okay.
Hi. So yeah, today was very fun. Like, learned a lot about AI and how to use it. We're going to learn a little bit more next month as well. Towards the end of July, we're going to have an online workshop. We're currently looking at a workshop about shipping code with agents, specifically a Streamlit dashboard from a provided data set, where we're going to look at how to set up a project, how to execute a project with guardrails using an agent instead of our own fingers. And yeah, I think it's going to be very interesting. So please keep an eye out, end of July, and hopefully see you, well, online.
Yeah, there would be online one. Yes. So the next bunch of announcements, we have in September, PyData Amsterdam coming again, the conference, and PyData Amsterdam is looking for volunteers. So if you would like to get a free ticket, let's say for PyData Amsterdam, but please keep in mind you're going to be working all these days and helping around, just go to PyData Amsterdam, their website, and there is a call for volunteers, so you can still apply and help them. Another thing is in July, we have EuroPython happening. EuroPython is a conference about the Python, let's say, for the Europe. And we're going to raffle a couple of tickets soon. There would be 2 tickets raffled for in-person and 2 tickets for online. So if you're interested to visiting EuroPython, just, let's say, check our announcement. And we also have upcoming events with, let's say, the sister of like Brotherhood community, which is Python user group in Leiden. And there would be 3 speakers there. One of the speakers is today with us. Can I ask you to join? Just if you briefly explain what your talk would be about, that would be very, very nice. So people can join this event as well. Yeah.
Okay. Hi, my talk will be with Python with Carol. I'm going to talk about learning Python basically with Carol, but judging from this, I think you guys are way more expert than I am, but this is more of a beginner level talk. I will talk more about Carol the robot, so that's basically part of my talk, and that's part of a program called Code in Place. It's a program from Stanford University, so that's how I started learning Python. So that will be my talk on 2nd July.
Yeah. Fantastic. Thank you so much. And there would be much more interesting things going on. But for the streaming part, we're closing it for today now. And then for those who are with us in person, we still have some time to mingle if you want to. And also regarding the foods, so you can grab more foods and feed your family as well, or yourself for a couple of days. So it's up to you to decide. Thank you so much for those who join us online. I will close the stream now.